I'm Mega Mike the Movie Man, and today I got a mega movie plan. Today, I'm back with another mega video for you all. Today, I'm going to be defending the post-credit scenes for the new movie Morbius. So I'm going to be going over why I think they were actually pretty decent scenes. I know a lot of people have been trashing those scenes online, so I'm going to put up some defense for them. So this video is going to be in 3 parts. I'm going to cover the first post-credit scene, then I'll cover the second post-credit scene, and then I'll talk about where I think this is all going to go next. And so, spoiler warning in effect, there's definitely going to be spoilers here. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would go see the movie, then come check this out. Or if you don't care about spoilers, then you're all good here. And this is just really about the post-credit scenes anyway. So without further ado, let's get started.
Got tired of doing the whole good guy thing, huh?
What's up, Doc?
Now to get into the first post-credit scene to defend. And so the first post-credit scene, we have a purple streak ripped through in the sky, and this is giving us an explanation of how Adrian Toomes comes through to this Sonyverse. You know, Michael Keaton's character from the first Spider-Man Homecoming movie, the Vulture. And so that purple streak in the sky, remember we saw those in Spider-Man No Way Home when Doctor Strange's spell went haywire, and that was an explanation of how those other villains got through to that Spider universe, remembering who Peter Parker was, and that's why they showed up. Now, I know people online are trying to, find some logic to this, that, hey, this doesn't make sense because it was just about those who knew Peter Parker, and then after that, they just went back home to their respective universes. And I'm thinking here, this is magic. It could have gone haywire in so many different ways. I mean, once we get into magical elements in the MCU, like, it's a fantasy now, so anything can happen with magic. And maybe Doctor Strange thought that, hey, it was just the villains that knew Peter Parker and that's why they came through, but maybe there was other things that went wrong with the spell, other things that maybe Doctor Strange did not recognize at first. I mean, come on, Doctor Strange was distracted by a teenager interrupting his spell, and he messed up on his own spell. Like, do you think he really knows exactly what's going on fully with his spell? I don't think so. So to me, it works out perfectly fine that another character would go through that into a whole new universe. I think that works out perfectly fine. So that's the first part I'm going to defend there. Then in this scene, we see that Michael Keaton's character, Adrian Toomes, is now in this new prison cell, and he's kind of checking himself out in the mirror, but he seemed more composed than Tom Hardy's Venom at the end of Venom 2 in his post-credit scene, where he was really freaking out that he was transported to a different universe. Michael Keaton's character is not being like that, and I see some people saying, hey, why isn't he freaking out as much? Like, he's in a whole new universe. Yeah, but if you know the personality of his character in Homecoming, he seems more composed, he seems very intelligent, he seems that he really understands his surroundings, and so he probably gets that, okay, now he knows he's in a new universe, he's in a new place at least, but not only that, he knows that this is a better situation for him now because they're going to have to let him out of this prison cell because he wasn't like arrested in this universe. They don't have anything on file for him. There's just some random guy showed up in this cell. So yeah, of course you're going to have to let this guy out now. I mean, it makes sense. So he probably realizes a little bit more quickly that this is a good thing for him, that he can actually now get out of prison, and I can see that his mind is thinking that way. So that's why I think he's more composed and more okay with it than, say, like Tom Hardy's Venom would be being into a new universe, because this is actually an upgrade for Adrian Toomes here. This actually helps him out rather than just being locked up in a prison cell in the other universe. I think he'd much rather be here. So to me, this scene makes sense because then, of course, you see Adrian Toomes gets out of the prison cell, and so I think this scene works together as a solid first post-credit scenes. To me, it works, it makes sense. I think the explanation is there. I think some people are really trying to nitpick it and trying to find logic holes in it, but I think it's just a solid scene for what it is. And to me, like, you can't overly explain magic here. So to me, I bought into the scene and I think it was well done. And I'm always happy to see Michael Keaton again. I mean, you cannot go wrong with Michael Keaton. His Vulture was awesome. So why not bring him into this universe? I was happily surprised with it, and I'm glad that we're gonna get to see him again. Hopefully.
Who the hell are you, man?
I am Venom. I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
Now to get into the second post-credit scene, and this post-credit scene comes up quick after the first one. It's still after the first beginning credits, but you don't have to go through those second long credits, so I appreciate the movie doing that. So we have Morbius show up to the middle of nowhere, and then we have the Vulture fly in. And to me, this was awesome because I'm happy to see the Vulture back in his costume. Now, his costume does look a little different from his Homecoming costume, but I think it makes sense because, of course, he's not going to have the exact same costume because he had to have made a new costume. And I know some people are complaining with this scene saying, well, how did he get a Vulture costume, or how did he make a Vulture costume? He's very intelligent. We know his personality is to be a scavenger and to be resourceful. He's the Vulture. You don't think he could have got a team together or basically resources to help assemble a new kind of Vulture costume? We know it's a different kind of Vulture costume, so it's probably not based on Chitauri tech, so that's perfectly fine, and that's why the costume looks different. But you don't think you could have found a new team here, a new Tinkerer? If there's a Tinkerer in the old universe, you don't think you could have found a new Tinkerer in this universe to help him put this costume together? I mean, come on, everybody, let's think about this one right here. To me, it makes sense that the Vulture would be able to get the resources to make a new costume. And it makes sense why the costume is different, because we're in a different universe, so we're going to have different resources in this universe. So to me, that all matches up perfectly. I'm not sure why people aren't getting that logic there with this one. And then you have the Vulture talking to Morbius about wanting to assemble a team and go after Spider-Man. Now, I see some people are complaining, like, why does he want to go after Spider-Man? Well, we don't have all the details and facts yet. Remember, it's a post-credit scene. It's a tease. We're not supposed to know the whole story for the next movies, right? I mean, it's just letting us know he wants to go after Spider-Man for some reason. Maybe he thinks that Spider-Man can help get him to other universes, help get him home in some way. I mean, that makes sense if he wants to go and see his family that he cares about, which we know that from Homecoming. Well, he has to find somebody that he thinks can maybe help him get there. And he thinks maybe Spider-Man could be the one to help him get back. So he's going to capture Spider-Man or do whatever he has to do to get back to his family. And then maybe he gets his family and brings him back to this universe instead of staying around in that one, or try to go to another universe. Who knows? We don't have all the facts yet, people. So to me, it still works that he may be going after Spider-Man for some reason, and we have him recruiting Morbius. Now, I see other people complaining about this as well, that, hey, Morbius is more of a hero in this movie. Why is he recruiting a hero to be now a villain? Well, Morbius was an anti-hero, okay? And so, yeah, he was more heroic out of, other villains, I get that, but he's still an anti-hero. And he even talked about in the movie that this synthetic blood, the blue blood he's been getting to nourish himself, is not going to be effective anymore. Then he's going to have to transfer to regular blood, and maybe when he starts transferring to regular blood, like blood he finds at blood banks and stuff, it still may not be strong enough. He might have to start going to the source and start consuming blood from humans. That's when he turns on full villain mode, and he does really become the living vampire villain we all know from the comics. So it makes sense that maybe he's going to want to search for Spider-Man too, because he thinks that Spider-Man could help him out. Because we know Spider-Man has the powers of a spider, and he's able to still be okay with it, and so he manages it. Maybe Morbius thinks he could get some of that help from Spider-Man as well. So once again, we don't have a lot of story details here, but once again, it's just a post-credit scene. It's just a little teaser here. So to me, I think it connects with the movie perfectly. It fits to the movie, and to me, it's a fun scene. And having Michael Keaton back is never a bad idea. I think his Vulture was awesome, so I liked him showing up. And so I think this second scene was also solidly done.
What's happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
Now to get into our third part, and this is where we're going to discuss what is going to happen next with the Sony Spider-Verse. So to me, it's clear that the Vulture is assembling a team, probably going to be the Sinister Six. I like Vulture as the leader. We're also going to have Morbius. Now we can talk about what other villains we think we're going to get. So I think they will include Venom in the Sinister Six, and I think that makes sense. I know some people are like, yeah, but Venom's more of a hero. Once again, he's an anti-hero. Remember, he was always talking about how he's getting fed up eating check-ins and he wants to eat human brains again. So maybe it doesn't take too much to push Venom over the edge and just kind of consume Tom Hardy to where Tom Hardy's human brain is no longer there in control, and it's really all just the Venom symbiote, and he just starts eating whatever brains he wants and he becomes on a full-on villain, just like Morbius could. Just the thirst for the humans is just too much for that Venom character, just like Morbius. So to me, it works. Let's include Venom in there as well. So that's 3 characters so far. Next, we know we have the Kraven the Hunter movie coming out. So, who hunts Spider-Man better than anybody else? You know you got to get that Kraven the Hunter in there. So that's going to be our 4th one. And then we know Chameleon is going to show up in Kraven the Hunter. So boom, we got 5 there, right? We got 5. Now we can speculate on who's going to be the 6th one. Now, this could be a lot of characters here, but remember how in the newspaper clippings originally that were in the trailer, it was teased that Rhino would be a possible villain for this Sonyverse. So I could see a 6th villain being the Rhino. To me, if I had to pick one right now, just kind of a blind shot in the dark, I think I would go with Rhino. That, of course, they haven't introduced us to Rhino yet, but I think maybe in a future movie, definitely we could see Rhino show up. Think that would definitely round out the team. So that would be our 6 members there, our Sinister Six, and I think that's what Sony wants to do. They want to get to that epic event level movie, because you know they're probably looking at Marvel movies with all the Avenger movies, and you know even DC with Justice League in some respects. But they want their own movie. Yeah, they kind of had it with Spider-Man No Way Home. That was their biggest event movie, and they saw it did really well. Remember, there's only 5 villains in there, so it was no Sinister Six. Still want my Sinister Six. So, hey, how can we top 5 villains from No Way Home? We go 6 villains, and they're trying to build up to that Sinister Six movie. And that makes sense. I mean, of course, Sony wants to do that because they think that event-level blockbuster can make them tons of money, get a lot of fans out there. And yeah, you know I'm going to be there for that. Absolutely, I've been wanting to see a Sinister Six movie ever since I was a kid, watching the Sinister Six in that Spider-Man animated show. I mean, I've just always wanted to see that. So I think that's where we go to next. We have the Kraven the Hunter movie, we have a Madam Web movie, but I don't think Madam Web would be included as a Sinister Six villain. That's why I didn't mention Madam Web. But then after that, we get a Sinister Six movie. I think that's where we go with the Sony Spider-Verse right now. To me, that's what I'm thinking they're trying to go for. But who knows? I mean, this is just my speculation of ideas. This could all turn out to be completely wrong. But let me know in the comments below, where do you think the Sony Spider-Verse goes next? And how would they assemble a Sinister Six team? Who's going to be included on that team? And do you think I defended the post-credit scenes enough for you to kind of buy into them a little more? Or do you still completely disagree with me and think these post-credit scenes were just not so good? I know I probably have the unpopular opinion on them, and that is totally okay. Give me your reasoning down below. Also, if you're just discovering my channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe right now. I'm going to get you tons of these future movie videos, movie reviews, rankings, movie news, movie hauls, unboxings, you name it. We'll talk all things movies on this channel, and I don't want you to miss any of it. So subscribe right now. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss when I post a video.
But I'm offering you a choice. Join me. Imagine what we could accomplish together. What we could create.
Also, like the video. And this is Mega Mike the Movie Man. minding you to make every day a movie day.